If I could take it back, I would. But some things you just don't come back from. I'm sitting in my lawyer's office right now. It smells like leather chairs and stale coffee. There's a stack of documents between us, evidence, statements, deposition transcripts. And on top is a name I haven't said out loud in weeks. Damon Carter. My ex. The father of my child. The man I loved. He's suing me for defamation and emotional distress. And honestly, he should. You might think I'm the villain in this story. You might be right. But before you decide, let me tell you everything. Not just what happened, but why it happened. Because people don't destroy their lives on purpose. We destroy them out of fear. Or pain. Or silence. It was 9 months ago. I was 8 months pregnant. Swollen feet. Back pain that felt like I was being ripped in half. Damon was working double shifts, always gone, always tired. And I was tired, too. Tired of feeling invisible. Tired of the cold dinners. Tired of the quick kisses and the missed appointments and the way he seemed to light up more for strangers than for me. One night, I found a text. Just one. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't even romantic. But it was from a woman, and it ended with, "You're the only one who understands." I remember sitting on the toilet, phone shaking in my hands, stomach tight, heart racing. That's when the seed was planted. Not a plan, not yet. Just a seed. Of doubt. Of resentment. Of betrayal. But I didn't confront him. I let it sit. I let it fester. I waited. And then the contractions started. The water broke. The midwife came. Damon tried to rush home. And I made a choice. A terrible, unforgivable choice. One that would tear my family apart. One that I now have to answer for, in court, and in front of my daughter someday. So if you want to know how love becomes war. If you want to know how a woman like me could look a midwife in the eye and say, "I don't feel safe around him," when I knew that wasn't true. Then keep listening. Because I never meant to hurt him like this. But I did. And now, everyone's paying the price. Damon and I had been married 5 years when I got pregnant. 5 mostly good years. Stable. Safe. At least, on the surface. He was the kind of man people admired. A trauma nurse. Calm under pressure. Charismatic. Dependable. Always ready to help, for everyone but me. They called him a hero at work. At home, he barely looked up from his phone. I used to be an art student, full of color and chaos and big ideas. But with the pregnancy complications, I had to stop everything. No painting, no studio, no side projects. Doctor's orders. So I sat at home, feet swollen, back aching, watching him come and go like I was some background prop in his life. He missed the 20-week scan. Forgot our anniversary until 2 days later, then handed me a bottle of body lotion and said, "Sorry. Work's been hell." I remember staring at that stupid bottle, wondering if I should laugh or cry. I did both. Every time I tried to talk about it, he'd sigh and say, "I'm doing this for us, Ratch. You and the baby. Can you just trust that?" And I wanted to. God, I really did. But the more he buried himself in work, the more I started to wonder what he was running from. Or who he was running toward. My friends didn't help. One of them, Melanie, said, "He's too perfect in public. You sure he's not hiding something?" Guys like that, they know how to fool people. That's all it took. One seed of doubt, watered by hormones and loneliness. Then one night, I saw the text. It lit up his phone while he was asleep beside me. Today was brutal. You're the only one who understands. No name. Just a number. But I recognized the area code. It was someone from his hospital. A woman. That much I knew. It wasn't flirtatious. Not really. But it felt close. Too close. My heart thudded in my chest. I stared at his peaceful face and thought, why can she get his attention, and I can't? That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying every missed appointment. Every distracted answer. Every night he came home too late to eat. I didn't confront him. I didn't even save the message. I let it burn quietly in my mind until it became a slow, consuming fire. Looking back, I can't say I meant to hurt him. I didn't think of it as revenge. I thought of it as survival. I was drowning in silence. And when the moment came, I used the only weapon I thought I had left. I was 39 weeks pregnant when it happened. It was early morning. The sky was still dark. And the contractions, they came fast. Hard. No warning. I tried to call Damon, but it went to voicemail. He was already at the hospital, double shift again. I didn't panic. I called the birthing center instead. They sent a midwife I hadn't met before, Carmen. She was calm, kind, and wide-eyed the moment she walked in. By the time Damon finally called back, I was curled over the couch, breathing through the pain. He sounded frantic. I'm on my way, Ratch. 10 minutes, tops. But something inside me snapped. Not physically, emotionally. 10 minutes. Where was that urgency for the last 9 months? Where was that energy when I begged him to slow down, to talk to me, to just be with me? He always came when it was life or death. Never when it was just me quietly breaking. So when Carmen looked at me and asked, "Is there anyone coming to support you?" I hesitated. And then I said it. My husband, but I don't feel safe when he's around. He yells. He's unpredictable. The words left my mouth like smoke. Thin. Floating. But suffocating everything. She froze. Her smile dropped. I didn't cry. I didn't even shake. Because part of me believed it in that moment. Not the abuse part, but the danger of being hurt emotionally, again. I twisted that pain into something uglier. And now it had weight. When Damon arrived, Carmen met him at the door. She was firm but polite. We're going to give Rachel some space. Right now, I need you to wait outside. His face, God, I'll never forget it. Confused. Hurt. Terrified. What? What do you mean? She's having our baby. Sir, please. She expressed she doesn't feel emotionally safe. We're taking precautions. He didn't yell. He didn't argue. He just backed away. Like someone punched the air out of him. I heard his footsteps fade down the hall as another contraction hit. And then, an hour later, Lila was born. Healthy. Crying. Perfect. And her father missed it. Because of me. I texted him a picture. He didn't respond for hours. When he finally did, it was just one word, okay. Later, when he asked me why I did that, I told him, I just needed space. But that wasn't true. What I really needed was to be seen. And when I couldn't get it with love, I took it with control. Damon moved out within a week. No shouting. No accusations. No begging to stay, just silence. He packed 2 bags and said he'd send someone for the rest. And when he left, it felt like the air in the house changed. Still heavy, but now hollow. He came to see Lila, of course. Right on schedule. Twice a week. Fed her. Changed her. Held her like she was the only thing left in the world worth holding. But with me, he was a robot. Hi. She napped. Okay. See you Thursday. No eye contact. No warmth. Just cold efficiency. I tried to talk. Once. I met him outside, hoping for something. An opening. A flicker. Can we please talk about what happened? He looked at me like I was a stranger. Then he said, I know what you said about me. To the midwife. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't accuse me. He just laid it down like a brick at my feet. You didn't just keep me from our daughter's birth, Rachel. You poisoned how people see me. My coworkers. My boss. My friends. Everyone thinks I'm a man to be feared now. Then he walked away, and that's when it started. People stopped replying to my messages. Melanie, who'd once fanned the flames, muted me completely. No one said anything directly. But I saw the looks. Heard the whispers. And then came the letter. From the state nursing board. Damon was under investigation. Apparently, Carmen had reported the incident, flagged his name as a potential domestic risk. My one offhand lie had reached his entire profession. I stared at the letter, hands trembling. I'd ruined more than his trust. I'd put his career, his life's work, on the line. I never meant for it to go this far. I thought I was lashing out at a husband who forgot me. Not dismantling a man who spent his days saving lives. I tried to call him. He didn't answer. And a week later, I got served. Civil lawsuit. Defamation. Emotional distress. Damages. And you know what? I deserved it. Because this wasn't just a mistake anymore. It was a reckoning. The deposition room was cold. Fluorescent lights. Stiff chairs. A pitcher of water no one touched. Damon sat across from me, flanked by his lawyer. He didn't look at me. Not once. I told myself I was ready. That I'd own what I did. But nothing could have prepared me for what they showed me next. His lawyer slid a folder across the table. Inside were photos. Receipts. Emails. Proof that during the week I went into labor, Damon had been working 14-hour shifts, and still found time to work with my parents, to remodel the nursery as a surprise. A full paint job. Custom shelving. Even a rocking chair with my initials carved into the back. I stared at the photos in silence. Then came the email draft. An unsent message to his supervisor, dated the day before Lila's birth. Subject, transition to part-time, as discussed, I'll be stepping down to part-time so I can be more present at home. Rachel's nearing her due date, and I want to be fully there for her and our daughter in these first critical months. I couldn't breathe. He was trying. In his own way, quietly, without grand gestures or fanfare, he had been planning a life with us. He just never told me because he wanted it to be a surprise. And I'd turned that gift into a punishment. Then they entered something else into evidence. A journal. His lawyer said it was relevant to show emotional damage. I didn't want to read it. But I had to. I miss my daughter. I don't even know what she looked like when she came into the world. I heard her cry through the door, but I wasn't allowed to hold her. Or kiss her. Or tell her I was there. I would have never hurt Rachel. But now I'm treated like I'm dangerous. And I can't even fix it. Because the damage is already done. That broke me. Right there. In front of the court reporter, the attorneys, everyone. I sobbed. Couldn't speak. Because for the first time, I saw it all, not from my place of pain, but from his. This man, who I thought was cold and distant, was actually trying to build a life for us, while I built a story to punish him. And now, he didn't want money. He wanted a retraction. An official statement, so he could clear his name. So he could be a father again without people flinching when he walked into a room. He still loved our daughter. But me? I'd ruined the man who would have done anything for me. And there's no fixing that. Today, Rachel lives in a quiet apartment 2 blocks away from Lila's school. They split custody week to week. There's no arguing, no drama, just a cold, structured routine. Damon doesn't yell. He doesn't criticize. He just doesn't speak unless it's about Lila. And Rachel can feel it. She's been filed away into a past he no longer visits. He drops Lila off with a polite nod. She used to cry when he left. Now she hugs Miss Elise, his new partner, with ease. Rachel smiles when Lila's watching. But inside, it breaks her. She journals every day now. In therapy, she's working through what her therapist calls self-protective sabotage, how fear of abandonment made her lash out, preemptively punish, and rewrite narratives to make herself feel in control. I wasn't scared of Damon, she tells the support group she now leads. I was scared he'd leave me, or that I wouldn't be enough, or that I'd be a bad mom. So I made myself the victim, and him the threat. That way, if things fell apart, it wouldn't be my fault. But it was. Not legally, there were no charges. No official ruling. Damon's name was cleared. But emotionally, spiritually, morally, she ruined something rare. He would have carried me through postpartum depression. He would have woken up for every 3 a.m. feeding. I didn't just lose a partner, I took a father away from his daughter's first moments. Because I couldn't sit in my discomfort and trust that I was loved. Rachel doesn't date. She's not ready. Sometimes, she sees Damon and Elise at the park. The way Lila skips between them. The way Damon lifts her like she weighs nothing, and how Elise knows when to step back and when to hold her hand. She watches from a bench. Sometimes she waves. Sometimes she just sits. If you're watching this, she says, holding back tears, and you're about to do something to punish someone you still love, ask yourself, will this make them listen, or will it make them walk away forever? Because silence isn't always anger. Sometimes, it's goodbye. Fade out. Soft instrumental music. A still shot of baby Lila playing in the park, alone on a swing. Wind in her hair. Empty swing beside her.